What's up, everybody, and welcome to my AEW review. A lot of things happening on the show tonight. I guess this is now the road to Fyter Fest, which is going to be different, obviously, of this year. I actually thought this show was still going to be on pay-per-view, whenever it was going to be, but it was announced tonight that Fyter Fest will be a 2-week thing, apparently, on July 1st and July the 8th. Basically, it will be on TNT Wednesday. I do not know if it will be live or 1 week it'll be live and then the next week's show will be taped. But with Fyter Fest on the way, it will be free on TV and not on pay-per-view. I guess they probably want to say the pay-per-view for All Out in the next few months. If there is any fans at that point, I highly kind of doubt it. But if there are fans, I should say. But yes, Fyter Fest will be on TV this time for a 2-week event, and it will not be on pay-per-view. But other than Fyter Fest, though, we do kick off the show. They did have a video pretty much talking about Black Lives Matter, pretty much a quick message. But then they talked about pretty much the show from last week of everything that went down. Had the intro, JR, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone on commentary. We do kick it off tonight with the tag team titles on the line. Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc. Listen, this match wasn't a bad tag match, don't get me wrong. I actually thought it was really good. I believe that Omega and Hangman had to carry Jimmy Havoc throughout half of this match because it did look a little bit rough sometimes. You know, I tried to talk good about Kip Sabian also. I think he has potential and he's not bad in the ring. It's just I don't get his gimmick sometime other than him just being with Penelope Ford, and I just feel like he needs to drop Jimmy Havoc because it just brings it down. Because I just can't get into the whole Jimmy Havoc thing. I can't, and I'm almost surprised this match went on this long too. Okay, I'm actually kind of surprised by that. For some reason, I knew Jimmy Havoc was going to pull out some type of weapon, which was a hacksaw, I believe it was, but Hangman ended up dodging it. I did like when Penelope Ford tried to go for a Hurricane Rana and Hangman caught her. Pretty much when that let her do the Hurricane Rana, and the referee ended up pretty much taking her out of the ring then after Hangman pretty much stopped her from doing it. But like I said, the match wasn't bad. It was a good tag match. It ended up with Omega and Hangman doing the buckshot trigger, as I like to call it. I think they called it the last call, if I'm not mistaken. But I always called it the buckshot trigger, and it hit on Jimmy Havoc for the pinfall. So yeah, Hangman and Kenny still retain the titles, and they will face the Best Friends at Fyter Fest for the tag team titles. Like I said, wasn't a bad tag match. Just come on, who in their right mind ever really thought Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc had any type of a snowball's chance in hell winning these tag team titles? Like, I want you to really be serious. Who in their right mind really thought they were going to win the tag titles? Okay? It wasn't bad, but I believe they had to be carried in this match at the same time, too. Okay? So this was a no-brainer for me. It was okay. It was a good match. Just some of these motherfuckers I just can't take seriously and just are not good. So that's my opinion on it. But next, though, they went to Tully Blanchard. I guess they had some Twitter promo. I think it was from a few days ago with him and Sean Spears pretty much saying that he's not taking his career seriously or himself, and that you want titles, right? You need to do something serious. And then, they got into this car. I think it was a truck, and Tully presented him with this black glove, or as commentary trying to say the black glove of doom and whatnot, that has changed a lot of people's careers. Honestly, I hope this does help Sean Spears, because obviously he's a running joke at this point. He's booked worse than he was in WWE. At least the 10 thing was over. He was over as the 10 guy, at least to an extent, but because right now, this is just, I don't know. So I guess maybe with Tully back, maybe this will help with this black glove and whatnot. I don't know. Like I said, you could hope for Sean Spears mostly, because right now I don't really know what to think about him. But at least they're trying to do something. Okay, he's trying to do something. But I always go back to my argument before. When he lost to Cody at All Out, it went downhill from there. But then again, people even go back to the first Double or Nothing show when he got eliminated by a guy with no legs in that Battle Royale. So that may tell you something too. But we'll see what happens with Shawn Spears. They got Tully with him back again, so hopefully something good happens. Brian Cage went against Sean Dean. Cage just comes out and murders this guy, throwing him all over the place. Surprisingly hit a buckle bomb, even though we already know another company has banned the buckle bomb right now. But he still ended up hitting the drill claw on him for the win. Taz got on the microphone then, pretty much talking about let's pull the curtain behind a little bit. Him and Cage was having conversation area about Moxley and everything, and that Mox he had the audacity to snicker while Taz talked, and how the Machine is going to kick the living shit out of him at Fyter Fest, and that his head is going to get torn off by him. And Taz did this whole catchphrase of, well, instead of himself, but beat him if you can, survive if he lets you. Next thing you know, Jon Moxley's music hit. He came out, got the microphone, pretty much talking to Taz and Cage. Pretty much, listen, the reason why I was smiling last week, because he's going to a war with a guy like Brian Cage, makes him happy. But to be clear, though, listen, this title's on the line. It's the farthest thing from a game, okay? And Mox says that he can't be beaten. He is just a man, all right? And he could take Cage all night long. And pretty much he told him that, listen, he's in over his head, because, listen, he may be different from everybody else in AEW, but he is a different breed of a shark, as Jon Moxley called himself. And he pretty much told him that the next time you mention his name on TV, you better be ready, because at Fyter Fest, he's going to basically beat the Machine. So, great promo by Jon Moxley. Let me say that, too. That was great. Especially going into Fyter Fest. So this does hype you up a little bit more. I'm looking more forward to this match. Hopefully they can protect Cage going into this. I don't think we need to see another monster heel get beat on the show again, because they did enough of that at the pay-per-view, and I never was really digging the Brody Lee feud that much to begin with. But this could work. This most likely can work. Lance Archer was in the back. Well, he wasn't in the back, but he was somewhere on looked like a road, or I don't know, some construction site, and he was beating up some dude with a mask. And before Jake Roberts could really say anything, pretty much he started talking about him being a monster, that he will not be beaten. You think that's it with Cody and everything. Basically, if you've seen Archer's promos for it, it's basically everybody dies. You will all learn why everybody dies and everything. So not a bad promo this time. And he didn't let Jake talk, so at least he got to say something. But this is, usual Lance Archer promos. I know this because I've seen enough of them in New Japan. So it's kind of, you can tell what he's going to say after time. But next thing, went to a private party. As he talked about Mark Quinn's injury last week, is like he was okay and everything. They were at the bar. But next thing you know, Matt Hardy came in, the Hardy Boys version of Matt Hardy, and pretty much he called them the future of tag team wrestling. And listen, I wanted to offer him his advice, his mentor, and everything. I mean, could probably call them the New Hardys and whatnot. Well, whatever the New Hardys he called them, but Cassidy pretty much says, you could join together. It could be a Hardy party and everything. When I looked at Private Party and Matt Hardy right there, all I could think about for a second was Matt Hardy being the Michael Hayes of the group when he used to manage the Hardy Boys back in, 1999, 98. I was kind of thinking that for a second, but I know that's not the case. But as, they were leaving the room, Matt Hardy ran to Sammy Guevara, pretty much told him, like, hey, man, it's all cool now. Respect to you. Guevara looked a little surprised. My friend asked me this tonight. He thought it was kind of strange. And I said this before. This was regular Matt Hardy. This was Hardy Boy Matt Hardy. The Matt Hardy that beat up Sammy Guevara was broken Matt Hardy, okay? Because he thought he would have been probably turning face. I don't really see it happening right now, because this was a different Matt Hardy. We're doing this whole gimmick thing every week where he's not going to be broken all the time. He'll be Omega Hardy. He'll be Hardy Boy Matt Hardy. He may be Big Money Matt. He may be version 1, or he is broken. So basically they want to switch around the Matt Hardys every week, because I don't think people really follow along that well to broken Matt ever since he got into the company. But next, though, they went to... Oh, I know it's a Chris Jericho promo last week, pretty much talking about blaming Colt Cabana from blocking him to knock out Mike Tyson. Chris Jericho came out. He had Sammy Guevara, of course, sing the Judas theme song, and Jake Hager there. But I will say that Guevara pretty much butchered that entire song, and it looked like he was late singing along to the lyrics. I could already tell. I feel like I memorized that song in my head at this point, but he just kept singing along, and it was so off key, and he was barely even to the track. I'm sitting there like, what is he doing out there? He's barely even keeping up. The match with Colt Cabana and Jericho, first off, those punches looked bad, by the way, by Jericho. The match itself was kind of whatever, if you ask me. It was okay. Jericho, of course, gets the win. I know he dodged that Superman thing. Cabana does. Jericho, because he went for the walls to Jericho, but Cabana got into the ropes then, and pretty much him with Hurricane Rana. It still did not work. He tried to go for another cover, but he went back to the corner and everything. Was going to probably do the same thing. But when he turned around, Jericho hit him with the Judas effect, and Jericho won. He got on the microphone then, pretty much telling everybody to shut their ass and show him some respect. And that, what he just did to Colt Cabana is what he's going to do to Mike Tyson, that piece of shit. And, he says, this is the fight everybody wants to see. This is the fight everybody wants to see in the sport after what happened last week. This is the talk of the wrestling business, he says. He says that Mike Tyson is still a piece of shit, and he wanted to taste the blood of Mike Tyson on his hands, just like he just did to Colt Cabana right now. And then he said he doesn't want to wait till Fyter Fest or next week. He wants him right now. But we got Orange Cassidy to come out, which I feel like this was going to happen again. Jericho and Hager tried to attack him, but he, of course, pockets, or some say that, was, my little dog pockets right there, rolled out of the ring and just went into the best friend. So I see where this is going to go. I guess they need Jericho to do something until they get this Mike Tyson thing going on. So I guess they'll be fighting the best friends and Orange Cassidy, the Inner Circle, all of them. Which, I will say, I'm not saying the Inner Circle is still not in the main event of things right now, but, have they somewhat went a little bit lower on the card right here? I don't know. It's not like they're around either the Elite or any titles right now, so I'll say that. Next up, we got some video package with Britt Baker, because we got to make her relevant until All Out, of her pretty much training while in a wheelchair, with Tony Schiavone, Rebel, probably more over than Baker there, and probably better look at, and some doctor, pretty much training, rehabbing her, pretty much rolling around her chair and whatnot to do that. Nyla Rose went against Big Swole. Listen, I feel like I've seen this match before in the past, and it sucked. This one was somewhat better, mostly on Big Swole's part. Couple clunky spots here and there and whatnot, but the match was okay. I thought Swole, but once Big Swole finally had a match on this show, and God knows how long, on AEW, so at least that's good. And bonus points for the Yellow Ranger outfit from the Power Rangers. That was pretty good. But they did interview Big Swole after. Nyla Rose did get the win, but like I said, Schiavone interviewed Swole. She pretty much said it was good to be back and everything, and after a few months out, she's ready. She wants to keep going. But next thing you know, Britt Baker, I guess Rebel drove the golf cart, almost going through the barricade, pretty much calling out Big Swole. Big Swole, hell no, she on some crazy shit, I see. Big Swole got a chair as Baker pretty much drove out of there as Swole held the chair. So we are still doing this Big Swole and Britt Baker feud, surprisingly, which I guess, like I said before, we got to keep Britt Baker relevant until she can actually wrestle. So they gotta do something with Baker, which I will say, some people have said before, her whole character gimmick promo thing is getting over. There's some people I know that don't believe that, but she's still shit in the ring, okay? So there's a difference, if you want to go with Britt Baker right there. But next, though, we got an interview with FTR from Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone pretty much asked him, what does FTR stand for, basically? Everybody wants to know right now. He said everybody wants to know right now. And pretty much said, FTR stands for a lot of things. Follow the rules, fear the revolt, as some say, a lot of things. Pretty much, he said, it's become a lifestyle, all right? And it's whatever you want it to be in this FTR. And, it doesn't just stand for one thing. But, there's a lot of tag teams they want to face right now in this company, from Private Party to Santana and Ortiz to the Lucha Brothers and the tag team champions, Paige and Omega. But Schiavone says you didn't bring up the Young Bucks. And, I don't know. I'm trying to go by their new names nowadays. I'm not trying to call them, Dawson and Dash and everything. Hardwood, or is it Wheeler, Cash Wheeler and Dax Hardwood? Yeah, that's their names right now. But I think he has Wheeler. He says it's not a dream match for them or anything. And, everybody says he wants to be the best match or whatnot. And you talk about how, Dave Meltzer wants to call them the Midnight Express. By the way, when I heard those comparisons Meltzer did, who takes that guy seriously half the time? I laughed when I heard about when he compared him to that, by the way. I thought that was hilarious when I heard about that. But, they said they just want to punch the Young Bucks in the mouth, okay? Cash said he wants to punch him in the mouth. It only takes 3 seconds. We're not talking about dream matches, everything. We're here to do business, okay? We want to beat them. That's all that's got to go, all right? And everybody wants to talk about last week, why they beat up the Butcher and the Baker, the Candlestick Match, the Butcher and the Blade. But, they don't want any excuses. They don't want them softened up. They want the Young Bucks to be 100% to whatever they face them. But, Tony Schiavone pretty much thanked him for the interview. And, he wanted to know what FTR meant for a second, which he always kind of thought it meant, which we all know what FTR has been stood before, which they kind of bleeped it out. But he said, fuck the revival. Obviously, they had to bleep that out, especially the revival part. Because if you've seen the Cody say that for the years in the past, you know what FTR means for it. Fuck the revival. And, that's just what the internet says all the time. But next, the Butcher and the Baker showed up. I didn't even know who these guys were for a second, to be honest, because I said these two look like two discount GQ magazine guys that just wear slacks. That's basically what they look like. They just look like some guys that wear some slacks, all right? And because I can't even tell without their, I guess their gimmick, because they don't have the bunny anymore, so I'm trying not to say the Butcher, the Baker, and the Candlestick Maker. But I couldn't even tell who these two guys were. Just them and some slacks. That's basically what they are. And they wanted to fight FTR then right after that. And he says, all right, we'll do it next week, okay? But they just look like regular guys now. That's basically what the Butcher and the Blade look like. I couldn't even tell you who they were for a second until they said their names. Because I was like, who are these guys trying to fight the revival or anything? I'm not trying to say the revival, but... who are these guys? Like I said, they look like two discount GQ members wearing all white with just slacks. They just got slacks. That's their thing. They just look like two regular guys without their gimmicks. So, I can't even tell you who they were. But next, they went to Colt Cabana, being interviewed about what happened out there. Brody Lee came in, pretty much talking about, losing his part of life. But, he could help, he could help him of how he reacts to losing. Cabana said he wasn't interested in it, but they said it looked like he was interested in it, so there you go. The interview with FTR, though, was not bad. Kind of expected a little bit more skating out there, but not a bad interview promo, I will say that. Some say they were just kind of happy to be here and face anybody right now. But, of course, we all know they're going to face the Young Bucks at some point. We know it will most likely be at Fyter Fest. I'd give it till All Out until that happens. So, it is coming. But next, we get to the main event of the show. Cody Rhodes versus Jungle Boy for the TNT Championship. This was a good match. Very good match. This was a title match, the first title defense for Cody, and this was good, really good. Like I said, both going kind of back and forth at it for a second there. Like I said, good back and forth. I did kind of like how they kind of went out to the outside of the ring. Jungle Boy hitting the suicide dive, but Cody caught the second one, throwing him into, Billy Gunn and his son right there. One thing I thought was odd was when Cody was setting up the table and they go to commercial while he's setting up the table. I'm like, why would they go to commercial if they're about to do a table spot? I thought it was kind of weird because when they came back, they're on the opposite side, then outside the ring. Jungle Boy ended up knocking Cody into the wall, which he bled after arguing with Wardlow and MJF. I'm sure that was a cut then for, Blade or for Cody and whatnot. I was wondering if I felt the blood was a little bit much. I'll get more on that in the end, but, Jungle Boy went back after Cody, but Cody was able to stop him then. Right after that, Jungle Boy came back with some punches and everything, pretty much going for the top rope, but Cody took him down with a drop kick after that. He went for the figure four, but Jungle Boy was able to get out of it. They got to the top rope, both guys, and then next thing you know, they crashed and burned through the table that Cody, I guess, had set up that fell to the ground. After they went through the table, they both ended up getting back in the ring. Jungle Boy got in second. Cody pretty much took him down, hit him with a crossroads, spiked his head with the crossroads, and still retained the TNT championship. So a very, very good match to end off this show with. I thought this was good. Yeah, I thought the little thing that may have been much in this match, but it's a title match. They got to make this look big as possible. I still think Cody looked like he's trying to be dusty out there by doing the whole blood thing. That's what I was kind of thinking. And the table thing was the table, but it wasn't that bad. Like I said, it's the first title defense, but I don't know, man. They had the blood in there somehow, which at least it added something to it. And going through the tables, it wasn't that bad also, but I kind of expected a regular match all the way. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a bad match. I've said before, Jungle Boy has potential. He has time, okay? The match, though, with Cody was pretty good. Good main event. I liked it. It made the title at least feel big with a big title match going on and whatnot. And that both of these two are doing anything that's necessary to get the win over the other, okay? So I enjoyed the main event. But other than that, though, that's my review of AEW. Like I said, a lot of good things on the show tonight from the main event itself. Prior to the Moxley promo, to the tag titles on the line, too. Swole finally getting some TV time back on again. So, some good stuff on the show tonight. A couple things I may have added your own positives to this show or negatives and what you want to think about AEW tonight. But not a bad of a show. I will say that I like the main event with Cody and Jungle Boy for the TNT Championship. Not a bad match. Not a bad match at all. Okay? But other than that, that's my review of Dynamite tonight. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Follow me on Twitter at Hooded9890. Check out any other video that is up online right now. Check that out. And, yes. And stay safe out there. Right now, like I said, shit's still pretty bad out here, especially going on right now. But yeah, shit's still pretty bad out here, so stay safe. So not a bad episode of AEW. A couple ups and downs right here, but not bad. So other than that, I'm out of here. See you guys later. Peace out. Out.